a group of senior high students, and I think their English is not advanced enough to understand you. So this time I invite adults, and some of them are teachers, some of them are students, graduate school students, and one of them is, I just saw Davey. So he's my student. He's a senior high school student, but he studies in New Zealand, so his English is advanced enough to understand what you say. So thank you again for doing this, and we hope to learn more about public speaking skills. Even some of them are English teachers. If they know more about public speaking skills, they can also share these skills with their own students, because Taiwanese students are so shy. When they are asked to talk something in public, they are too shy to do that. So how can you help these teachers to help them overcome their fear of speaking in public? All right. Thank you. You can get started.
All right. Welcome, everybody. So this is our first lesson that we're going to do, face to face online. I'm sorry I had to make a video last week. I was traveling home from a rugby match that was about 5.5 hours away from my university. I told you guys a little bit about myself in the last lesson. So I want to hear about you guys. So could you guys tell me just a little bit about yourself? Like if you go to school, where you go to school, and your name and the last time that you used public speaking. We'll go ahead and start with Claire.
Okay.
Hi, Jimmy. Hello, everyone. My name is Claire, and I'm a graduate student now, and I'm studying in the Department of Foreign Language and also the education program. And my favorite language is English and Spanish. And the reason that I would choose this public speaking is that because I would like to be confident to speak in front of people. So, and then other people then can understand me well. So that's why I would choose this course. And the last time I used public speaking, maybe few months ago, that we have a course presentation. So that's all. Thank you.
Lily, would you like to go next?
Hi, everyone. My name is Lily, and currently I'm a teacher teaching junior high school. And actually, Vicky is my colleague. We are co-workers, and I think I need public speaking because I'm kind of I think it's funny because I'm a teacher, but I'm kind of when I speak in front of students, I mean, not in public, not only students, I'm a little nervous. And sometimes I will speak too fast, or sometimes I cannot organize my ideas. So I think I need public speaking because I want to deliver my ideas more, organizedly. Yeah. And I think last time I used public speaking, actually, I think I used public speaking when I teach in my class. I think that's kind of public speaking. Yeah. So I would like to learn more about public speaking. And then, yeah, like as Luke say, I want to teach my students how to do public speaking, how to do presentation more like more that make them learn how to do presentation. Yeah, thank you.
Vicky, would you like to go next?
Hello, everyone. I'm Vicky, and yeah, like Lily says, although we are English teachers, but in front of the public, we speak English and a little bit nervous. So I hope that through this class we can learn a lot of skills and how to convey our ideas clearly to students. So last class, we used the public speaking. I think that every day we use it because we will teach our students and convey our idea and some English grammar. So that we use it every day. Thank you.
All right, Doris, would you like to go next?
Hello, everyone. I'm Doris. I'm a teacher in elementary school. And yeah, I joined these classes because I like English a lot and I want to improve my speaking and English. And last time I had public speaking is yesterday. No, I think it's Friday because yeah, just like Vicky says, as English teachers, we have to speak in front of others every day. Thank you.
All right, great. I'm not the best at pronunciations outside of English, but is it Jiawei?
Hi, my English name is David, and yeah, Zhao is my Chinese name. And like what Luke said, I've been studying in New Zealand last year of high school, and yeah, I've been here for 3 years. And then the reason why I'm here is because I find this, this skill is really important because yeah, I need this quite a lot. And last time I used my public speaking was around like 3 months ago. I had to, speak in front of students. So, yeah. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And next, I'm not sure how to
Amy.
pronounce it. All right. Would you go next?
Yeah, hello, my English name is Amy, and I'm still a university student, and this is my 3rd year in my university, and I am major in pharmacy. And the last time I do public speaking is next week, because my professor asked us to do that each month. So I think it is necessary to publish my ability to sharing my thought to everyone. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Those are all really good reasons, for joining the class. And I'm really happy that you guys all use public speaking really often. So you will probably be able to see a lot of improvement over the course of this class in your public speaking technique. So let's go ahead and get started and move right into going over the public speaking worksheet that was attached in the PDF file that we did last week. So number 1, use your own words to define public speaking. Would anyone like to answer that one?
I think I can go first.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, public speaking is to deliver your thoughts to others persuasively and make the communication more effectively.
That's good. That's really good. Does anyone else have a different definition of public speaking that they'd like to share?
I think I can go next. I think that public speaking is a way to give a lecture to a group and express his or her idea clearly.
Great. Yeah, definitely, giving a lecture to a group and, displaying, what you wanted to say clearly is a really important aspect of public speaking. And Doris, I saw that you raised your hand. Would you like to give the group your definition?
Yeah, I think public speaking is to stand in public and deliver some information for a group of people.
Yeah, that's a good definition as well. I think you guys all have, really good definitions of what public speaking is, and you all have a good idea of kind of what this class is going to be about. So the next question on the worksheet is give 5 reasons why a public speaking class is necessary. So we have 5 reasons. So I'm going to have everybody try to give one. I know that we have 6 students here, so we'll just try to come up with 6 different reasons. Starting with David.
Okay, the reason of public speaking. So for me, the most important reason for public speaking is wait, let me think about it. Is to be brave enough, like, to make yourself brave enough to speak in front of people. Yep, like the courage.
Yeah, that's a really good reason for, taking a public speaking class. A lot of people suffer from what we call stage fright, which is, when everybody's looking at you, you get a little nervous and you have trouble saying or doing something that you could do by yourself 1,000 times. But you just kind of tense up and you don't do it as well. So let's look for our second reason. Vicky, would you like to go?
I think that public speaking necessary because that it can prevent or protect some tragedy. Like the narrator, he announced something so that student will not make the same mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good reason as well. You can, help prevent mistakes in public speaking just by, practicing and taking, learning more about it. Claire, would you like to go next?
Okay, I think public speaking class is necessary because that it's a way that you can communicate with people, or you want to use your idea to persuade others. So I think it's a kind of interaction, so it's very important.
Yeah, persuasive public speaking is really important. That's actually my favorite kind of public speaking. So all of my personal experience as a speaker really comes from my days in high school as a competitive debater. So I was #1 in my state at debate, and I would give a lot of arguments and talk in front of rooms of people trying to convince them of a certain argument. So I always thought that applied, persuasive public speaking or convincing somebody of something applied to the most areas. Like if you're having a job interview, you're sort of trying to persuade the person interviewing you that you're the right candidate for the job. Or, if you want to get a loan at the bank, you have to sort of convince the loan officer that they should give you that loan. So I think that that's a really good reason, Claire. Lily, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I think, I think public speaking is necessary because sometimes we want to convey our ideas, but sometimes I think we need to add some like flavor or learn how to draw people's attention to make people want to listen to you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good. I like that reason as well. A public speaking class will definitely help you learn to manage a room and learn to add some sort of flair with your public speaking. So when I speak personally, I like to make my voice a little bit deeper, and I sometimes, depending on my audience, will use my normal speaking accent, or I will switch to a more monotone and standard American accent like I'm doing right now. You know, just because in America, certain groups of people prefer the sort of Southern country accent that I speak with pretty often. Doris, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I think public speaking is necessary because it's a skill that we learn how to get our ideas well organized, and we have to learn how to convince others or inform others about our thoughts, so that we will get clearly expressed.
Yeah, you know, public speaking is really important for kind of clear expression and getting your thoughts organized. That's something that we call signposting. Is when you're giving a speech, especially a persuasive speech, you will kind of go down a list and say, like, in my first point, we are going to do this, and then now we're moving to my second point, and this is what it's about. It's just making organization in your public speaking is key for audience understanding. All right, and last but not least, Amy.
Okay, I think public speaking is necessary because you can express your thoughts clearly, and you also can use this ability for your work or your school. Yeah.
Yeah, talked about that one a little bit earlier, expressing yourself clearly and just kind of getting your point across well. Those are really, really good reasons for why a public speaking class is necessary and why public speaking is important. I think you guys really thought your answers through, and you did a really good job on that question. So now we'll move to question 3, which is list 3 places that you will use public speaking skills. So we'll just do the same thing and have everybody give an example of a place where you'll use your public speaking skills. And those of you that are teachers, I'd like you to come up with another place besides the classroom where you would use your skills. This time we're going to start with Doris.
Okay, I think maybe in the meeting that you are for example, for Halloween is coming, and we're going to host an activity to celebrate, and so we will discuss in a meeting about what we can do and how we play the Halloween game, things like that.
Yeah, great. That's a good place to use your public speaking skills, especially if you have an idea about how that Halloween celebration would be run and somebody disagrees with you. Using your public speaking skills to kind of get your point across and kind of make other people support what you think instead of the other side is important. Next, we're going to go to Amy.
Okay, I think I will use this skill on my school seminar, and I also think maybe if I have this skill, I can use anytime, anywhere if I want, maybe.
Yeah, That's a good kind of technicality answer there, is that you would use public speaking anytime and anywhere, just kind of at the drop of a hat. So next we're going to go to Claire.
I think in the class, one teacher asks you to do a 20 minutes oral presentation about various topics, such as teacher may ask you to express about your ideas after you read the paper, and you need to do a conclusion, or teacher asks you to do a brief introduction about children's literature. I think these are all the things that you would use public speaking.
Yeah, definitely. You're going to have to use public speaking in the classroom, and learning to do that in multiple languages is really important. Claire, you said that you're studying Spanish as well, and I've actually been working on my Spanish public speaking skills too. So I study Spanish here at Truman. So maybe we could practice our Spanish public speaking skills in another lesson. All right, next up, Lily.
I think besides classroom, and I like on the day the parents will come to school, and then I will address my the parents how I gonna teach their children. Yeah, I think that's the way of public speaking. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's a good time to have to use public speaking. I'm not sure what it's like outside of America, but here in the U.S., parents ask a lot of really hard questions to the teachers, especially if their student's not doing too well. So, having good public speaking skills is really important for being able to talk to those parents. So next we'll go to David.
Okay, so besides assemblies or presentations in class, I think as a student, like you might use public speaking in a party, like to explain, like what the games are gonna be, or like how you play like this kind of games, So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good, that is public speaking. You have to kind of explain things to people that you may not have met, or people who don't understand, and explaining a new topic to somebody is usually pretty challenging. So I think that that's a good, you're going to be able to use your skills that you learn in a class like this when you do something like that. And now, Vicky, if you'd like to go next.
I think one of the situation that is school trips. When students go outside, they are so excited that they will forget everything. So the teacher or the director will remind or tell students what time they need to get together and when they should pay attention to their trip.
Yeah, that's a good use of your public speaking skills, and I think that that's another situation where what you're learning in this class will be important. And Angeline, I saw you join the call a little bit late, so we're talking about places where we will use our public speaking skills. So if you have an example of a place where you would use your skills, just go ahead and let us know.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, I just dropped in. I don't know what your question is and what I should answer you.
That's okay. I can see that you're, so what we're doing is that we are giving one example of places where we would use public speaking skills.
Oh, okay. As I'm a teacher at the university, I need to communicate with my students, especially college students, very well and without any misunderstanding, especially when I'm grading them. That's why I need to learn the skill of public speaking.
Yeah, you would have to talk to your students. So public speaking can encompass more than just talking to somebody. It could be if you have recorded lectures or even emails, being able to compose an email in a way that's persuasive and informative that will get people to read it. So actually, I'll go last to answer the question. So one place where I use public speaking skills almost every day is during my my rugby games and my rugby practices. So I play a position where I need to talk to people and really get everybody organized. And when we're losing, it's a lot of the time my job to get the team back together and get us all focused. So I really enjoy doing that, and I use my some persuasive skills and a lot of body language to get people to pay attention and do what I need them to do. So yeah, that was those are really good. It looks like you guys all read over the lesson again and were pretty prepared for that worksheet. So what we're going to do now is move into the second lesson. And the second lesson is pretty short, so we really shouldn't have a very hard time going over that today. I'm going to try to ask you guys a couple of questions about it. And the lights just turned off here and here. I think that they're motion activated. Looks like they are. I'll ask you guys a couple of questions about it, and if we have time, we will go over the worksheet at the bottom, because I'm going to have you guys answer the questions next class. So the second lesson is types of public speaking. And in this course, we identify 3 different types of public speaking, which is informative, persuasive, and ceremonial speech. So informative speaking is I would say probably the most or second most important kind of public speaking. So what you're trying to do is simply explain a concept to audience members without making an argument. The information is what's important, and you're not trying to get people to agree or show them how to do something for themselves. Informative speaking generally centers on talking about people, places, processes, events, or things. So informative speaking is something that you would usually do if you are in the classroom, because you were just telling your students about a topic, and you're not trying to convince them of something. Does anyone have any ideas of what they think informative speaking is, or if they use informative speaking, in their lives? That's okay. It's a little harder to come up with examples sometimes of informative speaking. Usually people have more examples and do persuasive and ceremonial speaking much more often. So persuasive speech is the next type of speech. It's the most common, and it can involve anything from arguing about politics to talking about what you would want to eat for dinner. So I already said earlier that persuasive speech is my personal favorite kind of speaking, because part of my personality is that I am pretty strong-willed and I really like things to go my way. So I've gotten good at persuasive speaking over the years, and I tend to win a lot of arguments. And through this class, you'll learn how to do the same thing. So persuasive speaking requires practicing voice inflections and subtle differences in language that will convince audience members of a certain viewpoint. So voice inflections are really, really important. Being able to first adjust your voice to the audience, and second, be able to change your tone of speech throughout your presentation or throughout your time of speaking is just as important. So talking to you guys, I am using more of a conversational speaking tone, but my cadence is a little bit slower. But if I was giving a persuasive speech to my church group, I would probably use my a little bit deeper of a voice, and I would lean into my accent a little bit more, like I'm doing now. So the part of the United States that I'm from, we use a little bit of a country accent, of a Southern accent, but that's not always appropriate for giving a formal speech or something like that. So I try to cut the accent out when I'm doing something more formal, and I also think it makes me a little bit easier to understand to non-native speakers. So, going forward, the persuasive speaker has a stake in the outcome of the speech. So that's a really key part of persuasive speaking, is that what the audience decides is important to you. So if you're giving an informative speech and somebody decides that they don't like what you're talking about, that wouldn't really matter to you. But if you're giving a persuasive speech and trying to convince them of something, then it would matter a little bit more. And that's an important qualifier for making it a persuasive speech. You can sort of make an argument in informative speaking, but if you have no stake in it, or to use kind of a saying that we would use in the US, if you don't have a dog in the fight, then that is to say that you don't care about the outcome, then it's still just informative speech. So politicians want votes or a lot of support for a project. And lawyers try to convince a jury of their position, or church members try to win over others to join their faith. Those are just really big key examples of persuasive speech. You'll also see persuasive speech in advertisements and in a couple of different areas. And persuasive speech uses emotional appeals and strong language to convince the audience. So there are three really important tools for persuasive speech. They are known by Greek words, ethos, pathos, and logos. Are you guys familiar with those? So ethos, pathos, and logos essentially translate to ethos as ethics. So appealing to somebody's sort of, it's a little bit tough to understand. So appealing to like a moral good and like a moral right. Pathos, it roughly translates to pity, and it tries to appeal to your emotions. So it's not just about pity or making you feel sorry for somebody. It could also appeal to a happier emotion. They do this a lot. I wish that I could show you guys. I might send you a link in the future, right after the class. There is a pet shelter in the United States called the ASPCA, and they use pathos a lot during their commercials. They show a lot of pictures of dogs that look really sad to try to get you to adopt them. And then logos roughly translates to logic. So you're just trying to make a logical argument to somebody. And together, if you can combine ethos, pathos, and logos together into one speech, you'll be a much better persuasive speaker. All right, and then the third version of speech is ceremonial speech. They mark special occasions and are common at weddings, graduations, and funerals, as well as like large birthday celebrations and holiday parties. Ceremonial speaking typically involves a toast and is personal, with like an intimate emotional connection to the audience attending the event. Ceremonial speech is probably the second most common form of speech in somebody's normal life. If you're not a teacher, if you're a teacher, you're definitely going to use, informative speech the most. But ceremonial speech is, if you're giving a wedding toast or if you're at a funeral giving a eulogy or something like that. During a ceremonial speech, being able to use jokes and being able to change your voice inflection is a lot more important. You would probably want to, if it's a eulogy, you'd probably want to speak a little slower, give your audience some time to reflect on your words. Or if it's a wedding toast, it might, it changes based on the occasion. You could make it more conversational, more formal. It could take on a whole a whole lot of different forms. So I'm going to open it up to questions from you guys. So does anyone have any questions about the 3 types of speech? Vicky, do you have a question?
Yeah, I think that these 3 types of public speaking are very important for me. But I'm wondering, is there any course or any way that train you to practice the persuasive way or informative way?
Let me think. So what sort of like learning persuasive speech over informative speech is something that we'll do in this course a little bit. So we're going to learn a lot about body language and being able to, being able to, pick points and overcome stage fright, that sort of stuff. If you like, probably not next week, but the week after, I could put together a lesson about persuasive speech in particular. Would you guys like to do something like that? Great. I'll try to pencil that in. So I think we're going to keep the body language lesson, or maybe just alter the body language lesson to be more about persuasive speaking as opposed to just body language. So we might actually do that next week. It depends on how much time I have to put the lesson together. Does any David, do you have a question?
Yes. So speaking of ethos, pathos, and logos, so which one is the most important factor in a speech? It's logos, right?
I think that logos is really important. Logos is the most important for constructing your argument, but pathos, I believe, is the most powerful persuasive tool because people are driven by their emotions much more than they're driven by logic when it actually comes down to it. So you'd want to, something that I like to do is to sort of disguise my speech as a purely logical argument, but to have certain emotional elements in it that I bring up without people really knowing about it. Because in my personal experience, people like to think that they rely just on logic, but that isn't always true.
Okay. So about ethos, like I don't really get it about ethos.
So ethos is really important for politics. So you'll usually see politicians doing this, kind of like a typical American. I really only know about American politics. But it was used a lot, particularly by Donald Trump and the Republican Party. So a lot of what they would say is like, look at what's happening here. This isn't right. This isn't what should be happening. We need to change it. Or like, oh, my political opposition says this and this, that's just immoral. We have to fight against them. And then they kind of use that as an appeal to get people to, take their platform.
Oh, okay.
Does anyone else have any questions? Great. So now we have a choice that we can make. So what we're going to do to start next class is go over this types of speech worksheet. And I'm going to have you guys answer the questions. So what it looks like is we could either end our lesson, 5 minutes early, or we could go over the types of speech worksheet right now, and then so you guys are a little bit more prepared for it next lesson. So we'll just we could take a vote. Who would like to go over the worksheet? All right. Yeah, it seems like it'd be pretty simple. So I think that we might just leave that to next class then, and I'll let you guys go a little bit early. Luke, did you have anything else to add?
Okay, I'm very interested in the fact that they were the #1 debater in high school. So what motivated you to do that? And do you have a role model?
So in high school, I really enjoyed debate. So I was ranked. So I went to the national competition, and then I qualified to go again my senior year, but it was shut down during COVID. And at the national competition, I was the best debater from the state of Missouri, and we were in the top 5% in the country. I got into debate because my dad did it, and he is an attorney or a lawyer. So
okay, that makes sense. I see. But
Yeah.
You have to spend so much time doing research, getting to know what your opponent's argument might be. So it's very time consuming. And
Yeah.
most students want to play video games. They don't want to spend time on doing research. What do you say to that?
I mean, the research and debate is what helped me pick my major in college. I just liked it so much. So I actually don't know if I told you guys. So my major in college is biology, actually, and I have a minor in communication. And just that the research that I did there, it helped me get better at biology, and it helped me get better at reading, big long papers. So I think that, doing research and having good research skills is really important.
Yeah, thank you. I think Lily has a question for you.
Yeah, Lily.
No, actually, I made a mistake, but since I've mistakenly raised my hands, I wonder if you, because like I always say some people have the personalities of of a debater. I'm wonder if you have in your class you have any, like sometimes you don't agree with your teacher. Do you have any like experience that you have an argument with your teacher? I mean, you want to persuade your teacher to believe what you say. Yeah. Do you have any like experience?
Yeah, I mean, that actually happens really often in a lot of the communication classes, because they like to keep it, open to a lot of different viewpoints. So, just the other day, me and my professor got into an argument about, our school's coronavirus policy. He was talking about, during our lesson about our school's, mask requirement. And I personally don't support the mask requirement here, because at at my school, we have no cases of coronavirus active right now, so I don't think that we need it. And he thought he has a different viewpoint because he has a weakened immune system. So we just kind of got into a little argument about that. But even in the lessons, we talk about a lot of different things. We're often invited to criticize our textbook and talk about how we think that the textbook may be incorrect or biased in some way. So for me, it's just really important to make sure that I'm respectful to my professor and that I have to watch what I say and not come off too strong.
Okay, any other questions for Jimmy? Yeah, I was pretty impressed when you said that you got to the national level competition. Wow, that's impressive.
Well, my city is basically the best city in the country for debate. We have had.
Which
city? I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, I see.
Originally, and when I don't know what it's like now. I don't know who won the last 2 tournaments, but when I was in high school, I think out of 3 out of the last 5 national champions lived less than 20 minutes from my house.
Wow, it looks like you have a lot of role models, and you guys have a lot of fountains in Kansas City.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We are so honored to have you as our instructor. So we learned something new, and we are looking forward to seeing you next week.
Great. Yeah, just for next week, I hope to have a whiteboard or something like that. I'm going to try to reserve a classroom. My house was a little bit louder than I thought it would be, and I had some stuff in there that I was going to use for the lesson. And then our library closed at 6 instead of at midnight because of, we're having a homecoming celebration at my school this week, and it closed early, and I didn't realize it would. But yeah, I'm really excited to, see you guys next week. So thank you for being such great students.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great night.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. See you.
Bye.